Welcome back to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel and Oak Ridge Wealth Management. I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how we doing today, buddy?
Dude, every day on the podcast's a great day. Again, we're still 1-0 because we haven't played a football game in a couple of days, but that's okay. I'm still living on that high of winning our first game. And excited to chat about what the Badgers could be with for a third year in a row. Feels like too long. A second string quarterback. Maybe not for the whole season.
Well, we hope it's not for the whole season, but we would love if this person was on with us every day for the whole season and beyond. It is the number one guest in the history of the show, Clint Cosgrove.
God bless you.
Clint, I love you, buddy. It's so good.
I love you. I love you more. You hang up. No, no, you hang up first. I'm just happy to be back. I'll be here every day. I'm here when you need me.
We're so happy to have you back, Clint, and we're excited to get into it. We're excited to talk a little Danny O'Neil because he's someone that you, back when you were doing scouting and stuff, were pretty in on pretty early. So I'm sure that Badger fans especially are wondering what they're going to get with this kid who went from Indiana to San Diego State, now in Wisconsin. Clint, you've known him since he was freshman in high school, sophomore in high school, something like that?
I think freshman in high school.
So just tell us about Danny as both a person and a player.
Well, he's Bro Neil for a reason. He's a gamer. He's one of those guys that he doesn't have necessarily the 6'4", 215 pound gifts. He's got good arm talent. He's a smart kid, but what he is he's a gamer. To come in after not getting a lot of reps, I'm sure. I mean, you're coming out of fall ball, so you are getting reps during fall practice. But once they, and I'm pretty sure this was probably decided earlier on than we think. They picked the starting quarterback. The other guy's not getting the reps. And, it's kind of like the NFL. Some of those guys get 5 reps a week, So
let me stop you for 1 second, because that's an interesting point that I actually never thought about. You got a transfer in Billy Edwards Jr. So you don't have a lot of time with him. It's not like and Bollinger was a little eclectic because he came in as a freshman, but like the Jim Sorgi who waits for a couple years, the Stocco who waits for a couple years. These guys get reps because they get reps over the course of that time.
Yeah.
Do you think Billy – I mean, I have to assume now that's just like an epiphany, Matt Perkins. Do you see that word? I went to college. That Billy Edwards probably got he must have gotten almost all the reps because you're getting game ready. And you don't have a lot of time to do it, and you just met the guy. Sorry to cut off Mr. Bro Neil.
No, not to cut off. I mean, you were the one talking about reps pre-show, so let's let everybody know that.
But then you just blew my mind here.
But got my mind going on the whole reps thing. And yeah, they're 2 new quarterbacks, so you got to come in and let's just be honest. Like Billy O'Neil probably cost our Billy Edwards. Am I getting it right? Yeah, geez. There's O'Neills, there's Edwardses, there's Billies, there's Willies. I don't know.
There's Bros.
Yeah. But, he got paid more than Danny, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like being a bonus baby in baseball. Like, you're going to give the guy you gave the money to the best opportunity for the job, for the chance to start. The thing that's different this year that you got to love is there was actually somebody who could step in and win a game, behind him. And if this isn't like Groundhog Day over and over, 3 straight years, the dude you bring in, I think it says something that we finally brought in a second guy, who they didn't have to break the bank on. College quarterback costs $1 to $2 million in the transfer portal if they're a big time guy. Now we brought in maybe not a $1 to $2 million guy, but we brought in a guy who's getting paid and a guy who's getting paid a little less, but both very good players. Danny O'Neil's just got that Willie Beeman for those who love Any Given Sunday. He goes out there. He's a gamer. He's got a little cowboy to him. Everybody knows I love a little cowboy. He might throw up an interception every now and then. The offensive linemen are very tall. He's not as tall. But you know what? He's going to make plays. He's going to put it all on the line, and the kids like him. I can tell you that. He's a guy that you'll play behind because he's out there with a smile. Like he's got a little Johnny Manziel to him. I want to say.
hopefully doesn't have a ton of Johnny Manziel off the field.
No, he doesn't.
That would be a problem. But no, Clint, that's one thing I want to talk to you about, because the bane of my offensive existence for the last 2 years was watching passes get batted down at the line of scrimmage at least 5 times a game because the quarterback was 6 feet tall generously.
Yeah.
Are we just going to see that again, or does Danny have something in his game to avoid that?
I understand there's a little PTSD with all of that. It's frustrating. You know, you're like, oh my God, here we go again. Danny has he's done a good job over time for a guy that is his height at the quarterback position. He's got good vision. He's got great field vision. He can see through holes that the normal quarterback his size cannot. And he doesn't panic in the pocket. So he lets the pocket go around him. And if he needs to push out to see and see someone open downfield, he will do that. But he's very good with his timing. He understands where receivers are going to be, and he has a trustworthy group. You know, you got like guys like Chris Brooks Jr., you know, finally, like, you know, the kid's strong, dependable, like all these things. He's going to block and everything like that. He's got guys who we know are going to be at the right place at the right time. So you don't necessarily want to, you know, match up a bunch of true freshman studs with a quarterback who isn't really tall. But for a guy, you know, Danny knows where to go with the ball. He knows what the reads are. As long as he can see it, it's going to be good. Sometimes he doesn't even have to see it. He's going to make magic happen, and then he can move the pocket. But it's just good, I think, to have a quarterback who doesn't necessarily need all the reps to go in and be like, oh, I got this. Because he knows the playbook, right? He knows the playbook, and he just wants to ball out.
Yeah, I think he said in one of the articles on what am I? What's Jay Coco's? Badger Observer. There's so many Badger, but Badger Observer, that what he was confused on is that they switched they lined up. He thought he would be in a different coverage that they were in, and it confused him. To me, that's playing in a football game. You can't really simulate that type of experience even at practice.
No,
because practice is a completely different game. Clint, talk to me about how important it is for him to get to be thrown in the fire, not expecting to play game one, or maybe he is after, watching 2 other guys go down, but to not get in, and to having positive production in that game. He said he talked a little smack. So you see a little confidence in there.
Yeah.
Probably more than previously. So like, what's it like to just get in the game? It's 3-0, man. It's not like this is a 1 football game. It's scary still. So how important is that to his development to get in and play, no matter what team it is, to play in a college football game under the lights, Camp Randall, not your own team you're going against? Yeah,
no, it's huge, especially for a guy like him, though. I mean, you think about this. He started at San Diego State last year. Like, this dude's been through it. Now, he wasn't playing at Camp Randall, right? But he was playing that level of competition. So in my mind and in his mind, he's like, oh, I've done this. I can ball. And like, even if he hadn't done it, Danny's the type that I can ball. So when you have that about you, I remember, we always go back. We all look around. We're like, who's going in now? Shabert. And Shabert's like, let's go. That's half the deal. I think, like, and when you're out there before you should be, I remember times in my life where I'm like, I shouldn't even be on the field right now. So if I screw up, like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain aspect to that as well. And so, reps are important, everything like that, but he has done it. Like, he did it at a very high level as a true freshman, which is very hard as a quarterback. San Diego State's a different beast than playing in the Big Ten, but he's played against teams of the strength and of better strength than Miami of Ohio. And Miami of Ohio always plays good defense too. So there's going to be times where he's confused or whatever it may be, doesn't have the reps, but now at least that he was prepared. Like, he was prepared to play. You don't just come in and well, I don't know. I've seen guys not prepared to play do pretty well too. It's a little different at quarterback, but I think, it's good to know that you have at least 2 guys in the room who are capable, because that wasn't the case in the past, and it ruined seasons.
And I think, Clint, one thing that I noticed on the field was that the guys who were not the ones, the guys who were the 2s who were rotating in for series, he was so much more comfortable with them, because it was clear that, like, he knew what Eugene Hilton was going to do on a given route. and against a given coverage. He didn't necessarily have that same with Vinny and Tretch, right? Like they were still able to get him the ball. They were still able to get Vinny that touchdown on a really nice and a truly outstanding release off the line by Vinny on that touchdown pass. And Grant Steck, who had been second team tight end, elevated, and especially with the injury to Tucker Ashcraft, and caught a couple really important passes. I'm curious to see how fast it takes him to get up to speed with the ones over the next couple of weeks. So we talked about those reps, right? And then the question is, if you're Jeff Grimes, okay, am I trying to get Eugene Hilton in here a little bit more? Am I trying to get Grant Steck, these guys who he is clearly more comfortable with, who may not have the same, game readiness or preparedness as some of these upperclassmen do?
I mean, I didn't even think of that. That's a phenomenal point. You think about it, he got most of his reps with Stack.
He got all of his reps
and
with
Hilton
Stack
and these
Hilton
guys.
And
Vinny too.
Yeah.
If you want to actually think about it, because Vinny didn't come in technically as number one on the depth chart either.
No, he
correct?
did. Vinny was clear cut.
Because the first one that I saw printed, I was shocked because I love Vinny, but so I'd imagine he does feel comfortable with those guys. I don't think it's going to take a ton of time to get up to speed with the other guys. But in that first game, when you didn't expect it, you're like, oh my God. Can you imagine if we went out with our scout team? I literally felt like it sometimes. I'm like, we could go out and crush right now. If they would just give us a couple cards to put up and then we would go out and we'd run the cards. That makes a lot of sense. I hadn't thought of it like that. But, the quarterback, receiver, tight end relationship. And these are guys who are future of the program as well. So I hadn't thought about that, Perko. That's a great point. Bernie, I mean, you can play into that too. I remember when you came in to be a starting running back and hadn't eaten all day.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was the fifth string and I should have, but again, game ready, prepared to play.
Yes.
Right. And I took, listen, it's way different. I would never tell you what a quarterback can do in college sports. Like there's no way mentally, physically, the entire reading. No way. I'm not a general, dude. I am the guy you throw on the front that runs with the biggest machine gun as far as I could go and then just starts spraying and praying.
Spray and pray, baby.
But dude, the knowing what to do, right? The footwork, the watching Anthony Davis do it over and over and over and over again. And the same. Yes. So I do. Listen, I love that. I think it's great. Here's what I'm excited about. We mentioned Shabert. You mentioned it was 2003. That dude had a line that was stout and also had a run game.
Yeah.
And what I do love about what we're doing now is we're not putting AKA like Braden Locke in this terrible position of throwing 90% and knowing that he's going to throw and the other team knows we're not doing that. We have Bro Neal, who I love that name. I hope we
need to make shirts.
We need to make shirts. I love it with the hair, dude. He looks a little whacked out. Like he's kind of scary. Like, that's the dude I want to go to Wando's with after a game. I don't know if he drinks or not, but I want to be around that guy. With
a name like Bro Neal, I feel like you kind of have to.
Who knows? Who knows?
You never
know.
What
I'm excited about is Jeff Grimes is not going to hide him, but is going to use it way differently. The NFL style offense, we're going to run the football. We have a running game. We have three dudes who, Yakimelli said it. He said that coach said that they're going to rotate these guys. They play off each other. That makes me pumped, man, because that reminds me of old school.
Yes.
You have Melvin Gordon, Monte Ball, and James White in a room. They're all going to make each other better.
Yep.
So these guys today are making each other better. And Daniel O'Neal just has to, he just has to manage the game. He doesn't really have to do everything. Braden Locke was asked to do everything, and that is very difficult. So I don't want to throw shade to Braden Locke. He was thrown into like this terrible situation.
Yeah.
But Danny O'Neal's in a place, but I think Danny O'Neal's in a place that he can do things, and we're going to do things just differently, right? I would bet Matt Perkins. I'm not a betting man, but if I had to go on FanDuel and make a bet, I would say that we run the football 75% of the time.
I don't know. I don't know if you can bet on the run pass ratio, but if you can, it's probably on FanDuel. They've got a lot of different wagers you can make over there. We'll be talking about a couple of those a little bit later on. But
wait, Clint, but tell me how important that is for him to have the knowledge that he's got tight ends finally in a room. Grant Steck had some beautiful catches in in traffic that was scary. And that dude's a physical dude, so I know he likes to get hit. And he's huge. But how important for Danny O'Neil to go into week 2 going, we're going to run the football. I'm confident that we can move the ball in that respect. And they're going to rely on me to move the football in bits and pieces. But I just need to know that. I don't need to know everything. I need to know kind of this chunk of offense.
Yeah. No, I think so. Danny can take out on a lot. He's very intelligent, but I do think knowing, hey, I can rely on my running game. He has a great football mind, and every quarterback knows their best friend in the passing game is going to be the running game, and especially with what he can do on his feet. So if you want to do some waggle or some naked or bootlegs or like all these things, sprint, draw. I mean, I think it opens up a lot in the passing game, obviously, when you're not forced to pass. You just got to stay ahead of the chains. You can't get in obvious pass situations and then people can just unleash on him and get a bunch of hands in his face, right? So I think, relying on the running game, and as much as I know Danny would like to pass the ball and go out there and slang it around 80 times like Drew Brees and every other quarterback that likes to, I think he's a good football mind, and he's played on really good football teams, especially in high school as well, that he understands the game, and he knows his best friend is that running game. He can rely on that. And I think, when you're going in as a starter versus when you just end up on the field, things are a little different,
right.
But I think knowing that you can rely on that's a safety net. And, you can count on your run game for explosive plays. Not only can you do that, you can count on them for when it's short yardage situations. And the thing that I love about this offense is you can count on them in the pass game too. We've got 3 backs, 4 backs, potentially who can catch the ball. They really can. I mean, everybody has their kind of role, but I think of just like Dupree getting the ball out of the backfield. Like he's got safety nets around him. Dylan just downhill. There's so many different things that these backs will allow the offense to do. And it definitely takes a lot off your shoulders as a quarterback.
Clint, guess what we saw? We saw a fullback dive.
Can we say a prayer real quick?
Or an H-back dive? I don't want to ever say that. We saw a fullback dive.
Never say that.
Wisconsin football, baby. Like, I got 100 texts when that happened saying, we're back.
I know you did. And you talked about it. I think the last time I was on, it was like the fullback's back, baby.
Dude, make the fullback great again at the University of Wisconsin. And listen, I'm all for it. I also think they gave Danny O'Neil that 1-yard touchdown because he was in. But if he's not in, I think that's a fullback dive that gets people electrified, and that gets a shotgun beer by me. Fullback touchdowns, shotgun beers.
We're not going to say what brand though, because we are open to sponsorship by many different beverage brands.
So it's got to be in a can.
If you want to be the official beer of the fullback touchdown,
$3 at a bar.
It can be in any can, any size, any shape, and it can be pretty much any beer. And honestly, beggars can't be choosers.
O'Neil,
it could be a seltzer.
The fullback name is on the back.
It is.
Listen, it could be a seltzer.
Bernie,
it could be anything.
It's got to be does not sound like a positive experience.
That sounds like a burning of the throat.
You know what? It sounds like it shouldn't happen. But I mean, again, if I look in my fridge,
you guys are open,
and there's a seltzer. There are no seltzers. Let's just go back for a second. I'm not buying seltzers and putting them in my fridge. They somehow they, like, after a party, we're like, anybody want these? And people are like, no. And so my liver says, guess what? I do, Daddy. I do. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take all this stuff. So I take it all home. I put it in my fridge. It just lives there.
Hey, it's a good place to better than living in someone else's fridge.
This is a terrible tangent.
No,
okay?
It's a beautiful
way
tangent.
too
It's
far.
why we're here.
Beautiful. Listen, it's really, I want shotgun beers, and I want a fullback to score a touchdown. I want it to be like this amazing thing. Okay, let's go back. Clint, Matt Perkins, you had a question.
I had a couple questions for Clint, though.
Does he remember them still?
I remember one of them, and that is actually now I remember both of them. Thank you, Matt Bernstein. Okay, so Clint, one of the things that I like that they did on a key third down was a design run for Danny O'Neil. You could never do a design run for any of the previous couple seasons quarterbacks, right? Like, God bless him. Tyler Van Dyke Mordecai was probably the best athlete of the three.
Yeah, Mordecai. How about him too? Playing like he put up some big numbers in preseason, I think.
Yeah, he did. I mean, good for him. If he had been healthy, I think that team finishes differently.
That team would have been a
different story, different time. Design quarterback run for Danny. He can do it clearly.
Yes.
We saw him do it at San Diego State with Sean Lewis, someone we all know and respect for his play calling and his football acumen. With him being the second string guy, though, and having Hunter Simmons plus true freshman Carter Smith behind him, how much can you safely incorporate that into the game plan, knowing how thin you are at position, even though it is something that can be very successful given his athleticism and overall, escapability, both inside and outside the pocket? Yeah,
I think you need to have it in the game plan. You don't want to live and die by it. It's situational because, even the NFL. Do you remember the whole thing in the NFL and why the zone read and everything and the RPO stuff was so successful in the NFL at first? Is because everyone said you couldn't do it. The quarterback is worth too much money. He gets hurt, you are screwed. We're not doing it. And then nobody could defend it in the NFL, right? So everybody started doing it. Some quarterbacks got hurt. But overall, I feel like, if you use it situationally, right? You use it when the time is right. You don't live and die by it. Now, if you have to live and die by it, you better be ready to have a third quarterback ready. But I think, it gives you an advantage in special situations. And I'm saying like when it's obvious, quarterback run, the fact that you can do it. One of the things I always love about quarterbacks, and I always say this, all right, he keeps plays alive with his feet, which makes him dangerous. But he's also athletic enough for situational QB run game. That's a hat on a hat, 11 on 11 for defense. All the guy has to do is make somebody miss. It puts stress on the defense. And so merely the factor of seeing a conversion by a quarterback and a QB designated run, the defense has to prepare for that. Because let's say, all right, big game, tight game. Yeah, we can't lose our quarterback, but they can't stop the QB run game. You know what? So there might be a time where you have to rely on it. You don't want to live in it, but I think it just says so much about the ability and then the options that you have on offense when you have a quarterback who can run, and just merely having it on film and not knowing how many quarterbacks are going to play in the game. As a defense, that makes you prepare for that. You have to spend reps on that. You have to draw up cards for it. You have to sit there and teach it. You have to sit there and fit it. There's a bunch of things you have to do, and maybe they don't even run it. But what if they do? And then all of a sudden they live in it. So I think it's a great trait to have. You do have to be careful knowing, hey, I better have a third quarterback ready if I'm going to live in this. But I think situationally, think about it. How many times is a quarterback going to get hit in a game? And drop back pass, get nailed. They're going to get hit 4 or 5, maybe 6 times, right? So why not take 4 or 5, 6 runs that could be, big time difference makers,
You're also bracing for it when you're running.
Exactly.
You might not be when I would say against Middle Tennessee State. Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds like a prison. But I would say
hey. My goddaughter is a junior at Middle Tennessee State. Do not disrespect the Blue Raiders.
Yeah, what'd she do? It just sounds like it. Sorry, it sounds like what Bobby Boucher played for. I'm sorry, my bad, Matt Perkins. I'm proud of your niece, your goddaughter, for dominating down there in Middle Tennessee, asserting dominance on the in the pen, but. I would say you have it in your bag of tricks, but I would say you do not use the QB run unless we're going to lose the football game and need it. You do not use it against Middle Tennessee State. We need to go into Alabama, and then even if you're going to say we're going in with Danny O'Neal against Alabama, I would beg to say, depending on how that game's going, you might not use it there because you don't know when Billy Edwards Jr. is going to come back or when something could happen again. The Big Ten road is a long one this year. So I'm just throwing that out there as I would say very much I agree with you, situational, but to win a football game. Yeah. Not like it's 3rd and 4 and we just need a first down. Let's use our running backs. Yeah, just some film. So that's where I'm at with the. I think you definitely have to prepare for it, and it throws a lot on a defense to say now you have these 3 running backs, you have these tight ends, you have Tretch, you have these wide receivers, and guess what? Oh, the quarterback can run.
Yeah,
it's very annoying when that can happen. Like you said, Brooks could run. Sorgi's not going to run. It's a whole different game plan around. You had to contain Brooks. Sorgi, you could just blitz. He's not running anywhere. So it's a whole different game plan, and I love that he can do that. So I think that's important. I want to ask you a question because I thought what Fickle said was hilarious. He's got athletic arrogance. What on earth do you think that means, Clint Cosgrove?
Something I always had. He probably thinks he's a little more athletic than he is. He's not afraid.
Listen, it's a good trait.
It's a great trait. It's a great trait.
I'll take it.
Show me that I can't do it. Like, prove to me that I can't do it. Okay. And then I'll shut up. But until somebody proves it to me, I'm going to do it. That's athletic arrogance. And hey, I want a quarterback that has it unless he gets blasted and somebody proves that he can't do it.
Right. Oh, Matt Perkins, you had another question.
I mean, my other question is...
I keep putting you on the spot. I feel so bad.
It's okay. I mentioned Sean Lewis earlier. What was he asked to do in Sean Lewis's system that went well for him? And what are going to be the biggest difference between what Sean Lewis is running at San Diego State and what Jeff Grimes is trying to do with Wisconsin?
Yeah, so Sean is a little less pro style. I think they're both very balanced run pass. Most of Sean's stuff is they play with pace, but they line up, and it's not necessarily like hurry up the whole time. So, Wisconsin is a little different in that aspect. There's not as many shifts and motions. Sean's offense has some motions, but this is literally it's. I don't want to say night and day difference, but they're asked to do different things. A lot of it is just the setup and the window dressing before the play, right? At the end of the day, Sean, they would run, deep balls. But I would say most of their play action stuff was really either zone read RPO or quick play action and then go. I think Danny's going to be asked to do a lot more true play action, true run movement, motion, and all that. I would say Danny's offense, what he was doing at San Diego State, is a little more like the last regime than it was in the new regime. But that was one of the things that I loved him coming out of high school. He could have played in a pro style offense. He could have played in a spread offense. But the concepts are going to be similar when it comes to everything. But I think really the protections, the shifts, motions, and play action game are probably the biggest difference.
Yeah, I guess the one other thing I'm excited to see about him is I'm going to call it, I don't know, the Indiana connection. We need a better name for it, but him and Eugene Hilton having played together with the twos the whole spring, the whole summer. Now Hilton, he was in the 2 deep, and seeing those two together, 2 young guys from Indiana pipeline coming to Wisconsin, that makes me excited. Another thing that we got to figure out a better name, a name for it. I'm going to workshop that. Maybe I'll have something in the show notes by the time the show comes out.
Yes.
We all know how crucial your data security is. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers take your data and profit off of it. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details, leading to identity theft, phishing attempts, harassment, and more. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. As someone who's worked in higher education for a long time, I know just how crucial data security is to make sure that student info stays private. But no matter what industry you're in, data security is one of the most important parts of your personal and professional life. So take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount to our listeners here on Believe in Badgers. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting PRO, that's P-R-O, to 64000. The only way to get 20% off is by texting PRO to 64000. That's PRO to 64000. Message and data rates may apply. Hey folks, before we continue, I want to remind everyone tuning in that we continue to be proudly presented by Chris Anicetti and his entire team over at Oak Bridge Wealth Management. If you're a collegiate athlete or parent of a collegiate athlete navigating NIL opportunities, Chris and his team are here to help maximize your earnings and protect your future. We all know that athletes train hard to be the best on the field, but who's making sure they're winning off the field? Chris Anicetti and his entire team at Oak Bridge Wealth Management. That's who. They don't just manage your money, they handle your entire financial world. From building a rock solid financial plan tailored for athletes to paying bills, budgeting, setting up LLCs, and securing financing for cars, equipment, and whatever else you need so that you can focus on your game. Your career is short, make every dollar count. Oak Bridge Wealth Management, where athletes build lasting wealth. Get in touch with Chris on Instagram at oakbridgewm_Anicetti. That's oakbridgewm_ANICETE, or head on over to their website at oakbridgewealthmgmt.com. Chris Anicetti, Oak Bridge Wealth Management, they've been helping a lot of NCAA athletes and professional athletes get their money right. There's no one else better for this around that you are going to find. So make sure to get in touch with Chris and support the people who support us. All right, we're going to hop back into the show. Another thing, though, that we're excited about is our sponsorship by FanDuel. We're so excited to have them as part of the family. So Clint, we got a couple props for you, a couple futures for you that we're going to talk about here on the show. So we are going to start, Clint. We've got, I'm going to ask you. So I've got like the favorites for the NCAA for the national championship in the first column. I've got some long shots in the second column, and the third column is Big Ten winner. So I'm going to ask you for your best bet on each. We're going to start with the favorites for the NCAA title. I'm going to read them out real quick for our audio listeners. We got Penn State and Ohio State tied at plus 600 for the best odds, followed by Georgia, Texas, LSU. All at plus 1,000 or better. Oregon, Clemson, Notre Dame, Alabama, Miami, and Michigan sort of round out that top 12 or so. So out of those dozen or so teams, Clint, what do you think, what would your best bet be? What's the best value here?
The best value to me is either LSU at plus 1,000 or Oregon at plus 1,300.
So we've seen, we saw LSU do it at Clemson this past weekend. I thought they looked really good. Garrett Nussmeier has leapfrogged everyone to be the favorite for the Heisman now.
He was my preseason favorite.
Yeah, he's got some moxie too to him. I love Nussmeier's game.
I was down there in spring or after spring and watching film, and I was like, Nussmeier's going to be a Nussmeier. Like, Nussmeier is my guy to win the Heisman preseason. I said that, but yeah.
My question then is, what do you like about Oregon? Because they have a relatively unproven quarterback in Dante Moore. Yes, he was a 5-star, but he transferred from UCLA after a season where he played as a true freshman, but was as someone who has the Bruins as their second team. He was a little underwhelming at times, and thought that and he ended up getting beaten out. By God, now I'm completely forgetting his name, but someone who, showed a little bit more, but still was not someone who has had the same pedigree as him.
Yeah. So, I mean, Dante, you talk to people around that program and going into the season, they're like, this kid's got a chance to win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, that's how talented he is. And I watched him in high school. He is a special talent. I think it's the top to down roster and the depth that they have there. Their defense is really, really good. And they bring in guys like Dylan Tianeman from
that's unfair, from Purdue.
I know.
He was Purdue's one good player. Like, I feel so bad for Purdue.
Yeah, well, the other one was Will Helt, and he went to Clemson. So so the defense, their offensive line, their running game, I mean, they've got some good backs. They're young at receiver, but they're very good at receiver. Like DeCorian Moore came in as a true freshman, had a big game. Jeremiah McClellan, he had 2 blocks on pump blocks as well. They've got a loaded, and the guys behind Dante Moore, like Austin Novosted and stuff, like they've got some depth there. So I really like them, but LSU, really, really good. So those are my value. I mean, if I had to pick the number one, to me right now, it's Ohio State, and it's without question.
All right. Let's go some of these long shots, starting with Utah. These are plus 10,000 or more. Utah, SMU, Indiana, Arizona State, Missouri, plus 12,500. TCU, Florida State, Texas Tech, Georgia Tech, Iowa, Illinois. Any of those, want to throw a flyer on?
Well, I'm an ASU grad, and I don't want to get booed for this, but I don't think they would be my top in there. I think Utah is sleepy good. I follow Missouri football, so I would put Missouri in there. They started off really hot. It's not always the competition at the beginning of the season either. Like, there's a lot of these guys who didn't play great against not great teams week one. But yeah, I would say in that group, Utah number one, Missouri number two. I mean, TCU showed something. Texas Tech's got a big payroll. Georgia Tech showed something. Illinois is really, really good. Iowa State. Now, Iowa State is one that I will keep a close watch on. I think they've got a chance to be very, very good.
Ooh, Rocco Becht. Nice player. Player. Absolutely. Big Ten champion. Ohio State is the clear favorite at plus 185. Can you see you like Oregon. Could you see them knocking them off? Or do you like that value at plus 480 or any of the other schools in the Big Ten?
The plus 480 makes Oregon interesting. The plus 185 for Ohio State, I'd rather just bet them in a single game at that point. Plus 185 is for winning a conference this is a brutal.
That's no value at all.
Yeah, no, it's not. I like the value in Illinois at plus 3,300.
Yeah.
USC as well. I was surprised with their quarterback play. I was at the Minnesota game. To be honest, they look really darn good. That game, the score didn't show what it was actually like. They look pretty good, and Buffalo was a 9-win team last year. So yeah, my number one value pick in there would probably be Illinois. But
that sophomore safety that Minnesota has is something. Parrish.
Yeah.
He's really something. I remember, Clint, you and I broke him down like 3 years ago, back on Badger Blitz TV, and I was like, I don't know if I see it. I was dead wrong on that one. Boy, can he play. Okay, quickly, we got to run through a couple games this weekend. First off, the Wisconsin game. Wisconsin minus 28.5 against Middle Tennessee.
Money line.
Wisconsin money line minus 10,000.
Geez, that's a hard one. Put me on the spot. Can I do an under or an over? Can I go over 45.5?
Oh no, did we freeze?
We did.
Oh, okay. Are we back?
We're back.
Bernie, are you back?
You're going over 45, Clint?
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
Interesting.
Yeah. Middle Tennessee got run out by Austin P last week. It was not a pretty sight for the Blue Raiders.
We scored 17 points.
One of the great games every year, Iowa State. Iowa State is a minus 2.5 point favorite at home.
I'm taking Iowa State.
Illinois, tricky road game at Duke, with Mensa, the new quarterback at Duke, the Tulane transfer, who could be one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
I like Illinois to win. I'm taking Duke plus 3.5.
Oh, you like a close one there. I like that. Okay. One more, Michigan, Oklahoma. That's I think it's the big noon kickoff game or the game day game or whatever it is. I don't know. Too many freaking pregame shows at this point. Oklahoma is a 5.5 point favorite at home.
I might get accosted for this and might have to lock my doors extra tight tonight, but I'm taking Michigan money line.
Whoo, Michigan plus 152. I absolutely love to see it. All right, Bern. Well, that's I know you got one more question.
I'm just shocked at some of the, this is why I don't gamble, because my opinions and Clint's opinions and probably your opinions do not make any sense. That's why I don't gamble. But
watch me go over. But I'll tell you this, it usually takes Vegas to catch up, 3 weeks to catch up to me. I win the first 3 weeks. If I were to bet, I don't. But when I make picks like this, I win the first 3 weeks, and then Vegas catches up, and I'm done after that.
Listen, I have nothing of. I think people who want to gamble should gamble. I'm terrible at it, and that's it. And I don't know if ChatGPT is helping me. I feel like they're going to be like, "We want you to lose your money, so you're going to lose it." But those picks are interesting. I think USC in the Big Ten is, scoring 73 points is never easy. You can't be a bad team and do it. It's hard. You got to go play there a lot. That's hard for teams. Like there's just things. But Ohio State to dethrone them is gonna be brutal. But it's happening.
I was out at a spring practice for USC too. I mean, you want to talk about talent? I mean, they're just young, and my biggest question was like, who's going to be the quarterback? And it seems like that was pretty settled. So I wouldn't sleep on USC either, Bernie.
I wouldn't sleep on them. I don't know if I would bet on them, but that would be my one I would bet on. And I would definitely not. Nobody, no matter who you are, FanDuel, do not do this. Don't bet a Jets game. Don't do it.
It's always
they are going to lose every game and disappoint you beyond belief. So I'm just saying, I'm a Jets fan.
Justin Fields now, or is that Pittsburgh?
They play Pittsburgh against Aaron Rodgers the first game. This will be the most monumental, like ridiculous game ever. I don't even know. Butt fumbles all over the place.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, I will not. Dude, my brother sent me a text today, said, somebody's selling their tickets for like $250. Do you want to go to this game? I was like, hell no. I wouldn't pay $2.50.
I was going to say, I bet you were like, they're paying me how much to go to the game?
I'm getting paid. Yeah, I still wouldn't go. You have to literally, I need Woody Johnson to call me and be like, hey, Matt Bernstein, you're some peasant that I don't know. I want to pay you to come to this game. That's my fantasy world where famous people call me to come to football games. It's never going to happen. Clint, just final. I think a huge positive for the Badgers. We didn't even talk about the defense letting up 0 points, which is amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
Brand new. Everything looked great. Everything looked so much better. Same on the offense. Everything looked so much better. So that was a huge improvement. Clint, your experience. You play on a Thursday night. You have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you play Saturday, and it's still not like, in Alabama. So you got to be diligent about being excited for this game, but you got a lot of time. You got some bangs, some people bang, but these reps, pros for Danny O'Neil in a long week.
I mean, just knowing that you're the guy, you're getting the reps, you're getting on, a lot with him and many shorter quarterbacks. They're not always going to have that full view. You can still have great field vision behind center, but the linemen are a little taller. So just getting the timing down with the receivers who you haven't worked with much, getting to know the offensive line, like getting into the huddle and being like, okay, I'm the guy you're listening to now. Knowing what people needs when you're looking at the eyes of the people in the huddle. Okay, does so-and-so look like they're ready? Do they need a little pep? Controlling the game, getting on the same page, and letting the people whose eyes you're looking into in that huddle know that they can trust you. And when the game's on the line, that they are going to follow you and you're going to lead them to victory. So the reps are important. The timing's important, getting to know, every aspect of what they're going to rely on and how much he's going to run the ball. Like, everything was kind of a guessing game for him last year when he hopped in there. Yeah, no matter how much the offense, how comfortable you are, it's still a guessing game because you're not working with these people every reps. You're not in there every time, and you weren't supposed to be the guy. So I think having a long week, especially in a lot of your improvement, your biggest improvement comes between week 1 and week 2. At least it should. And so I have a lot of confidence, and that's why I went with the over on the FanDuel over on that. I think that they're going to be able to score some points, and I think Danny's got a good chance to lead this team to a nice offensive output.
Woo! I love all that, except I'll take the under because I don't trust that we're going to give up any points, but I also don't trust that we score. There you go.
And that was my biggest worry, to be honest.
The Badgers on the spread do you dirty like the Jets do. Like it's always like 0.5.
Spread was 17.5 last week. They won 17-0.
You've got to buy the hook usually.
I'm just saying maybe it's just I'm fixated on two teams, but that's all I'm saying is
listen, there's a reason they keep building big old buildings out there in the desert in Nevada.
Yeah.
Listen, it's great. It's amazing. It is truly amazing. I think Clint, you also, dude, Danny O'Neil's sleeping different, right? Everything he wakes up, going to class is different. He's number one. He's QB1. And that pressure, which is good for a guy like him, is good, right? Yeah. To know that you're not waking up going, I'm going to get 20 reps today. I just need to show up for 20 reps. I'm going to sit in the meeting room. I'll pay attention. Now it's like I'm answering questions. I'm grinding. Not saying he was slacking, but it's a different entire sitting on the, being the vice president is not being the president, right? Being the secretary of state is not being the president. They are very different. And same with QB 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm excited that he gets more sleeps as QB 1. So he is ready for Middle Tennessee State. But lurking is Alabama. And that is going to tell, I think, Badger Nation a lot. This week is important. You cannot stress enough where we're coming from. We just won one game. So we have to really take next week or this weekend coming up and be serious and then see what our mustard against Alabama. See them. What are they saying? I
was going to say, I was looking for it. I thought I had the word that
with what's his name? What's the baseball movie where it's Charlie
Major
Sheen?
League.
He's like, you got the marbles.
Major League.
Major League.
Oh yeah.
So like,
he's like,
we gotta. So coming up in a couple of weeks is like, you got the marbles. Is that movie? That's that movie, right?
Yeah, no, he's like,
okay.
Oh,
yeah. That.
What's the guy's name though? Well,
Pedro Serrano
Joe
is the
Boo.
character now.
Yes. Joe Boo.
Joe Boo. But listen, you made me feel much better, Clint.
Okay, good. I'm supposed to do that, but let's see if I didn't get a chance to research my picks, so I'm a little worried about that. But I think we're good.
It's okay. We appreciate you taking the time. I would actually bet
Matt Perkins. If I bet Clint's bets, I bet you, like I say bet a lot, you would win. I would go on FanDuel, make an account, bet Clint. Don't bet whatever I say. Bet whatever Clint says, and just see you just stack that cash. And then donate it to
I absolutely love it.
UW.
We highly encourage you.
And retire early. It's easy.
Just if you're an athlete,
easy,
don't bet on your games if you're an athlete. It's too easy for them to find you out. We've seen too many that happen to too many guys. So we're going to wrap it here today. We want to thank everyone for tuning in to Believe in Badgers here on the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel and Oak Bridge Wealth Management. We'll be back again soon. More interviews, more Monday Morning Fullback, and hopefully some more Clint, because let's face it, brother, we love you. Thanks for tuning in.
I love you guys.
And until next time, on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin.